Welcome to the Three Path Profits podcast, where we'll talk about business, finance, social media, and everything in between on our paths to profit. Three different people, three different side hustles, one common goal profit. My name is Kyle,
My name is Lexi.
My name is Amanda.
and we're your hosts. To set the proper expectations for today's episode, our format will be as follows. First, we'll hear from Lexi, who will talk about everything related to her Etsy shop. Then we'll hear from myself, who will teach everything about investing. Last up, we'll hear from Amanda, who will go over the latest in the social media world. Let's dive in.
Okay, so to start out with some stats for the last 7 days for my Etsy shop, I had 33 views, 15 visits, and 0 orders. The last 30 days, I had 106 views, 56 visits, and 4 orders. Again, overall, I'm still pretty happy with those stats. I was playing around on my Etsy shop dashboard and whatnot, and I mean, even just yesterday, I don't know why it was pretty significant, but I mean, just yesterday it was 17 or 19 of the views and 3 visits of the last 7 days. But again, still can't complain with that. I haven't added anything new or changed anything on the site over the last 7 days. So just kind of to touch on what we were talking about last week, I'm thinking of what items to make for Anything Cricut Co. to go off of all of that. And then when I do make those items, I'll be videoing to post on TikTok and Instagram just to kind of get that content. I've been kind of playing around with the idea of labels for pretty much anything. Like I could do a bottle, I could do a hand sanitizer, I could do a chip clip, or really anything like we were talking about last week. So I'm just kind
I
of
love the idea of the chip clip. I think the chip clip is a great idea.
Nail cutter.
yeah. I mean, the possibilities are endless. So I just kind of need to figure out what I'm going to do and then kind of move forward from there. Obviously, I feel like previous jobs for a lot of like the marketing, they would do like the chip clips, the hand sanitizer, the pens, the notepads, things like that. But I don't necessarily want to just stick with those items. So I'm just going to kind of play around and do some more searching on that. I'm going to be coming up with a holiday/gift idea outline by the end of September is my deadline on that, and then upload those designs to my shop using the Adobe Photoshop Express, just so again I don't have to make those items, but I can show that they can be made. Saves me a lot of money, but also shows that you can still get them for those holidays. I just want to make sure it's done by the end of September so that people can start buying it whenever they want, as everything is quickly approaching. I do want to kind of just continue to learn and educate myself on the best ways to use the Cricut and see how other people are doing it, explore the different things I could be using, different options and whatnot. I mean, I feel like every time I do research on a new item or something even I've already used, I see someone do it a different way. It could be better, it could be worse, just kind of really showing myself, I guess, what can be done, best ways to do it, learn from my mistakes and whatnot. So just kind of continuously doing that. I need to have the family members that I made the items for promote them on their social medias. They will be getting those this week or they have already received them. So I do need to kind of just remind them this upcoming week to please promote those on their social media accounts. I do still need to upload the decal/sticker, whatever we want to call it.
Touchy subject.
I know. To my shop. So I haven't done so yet. I honestly it's been a busy fucking week. So I would say that's probably on my most important things to do for this upcoming week, just so I can get another thing uploaded to my shop. So the goals kind of moving forward are just going to be continue to promote, have other individuals promote that I've given or made items for, make the outline for my holiday gift idea, upload the sticker, like I just said, decal. Again, I don't want to offend anyone. And continue to make content for my Instagram and TikTok as I make the items, just so I can continuously post those reels and videos.
It's good shit. when you were rattling off different ideas, the one idea that I had for you is doing hats. Is that possible with your Cricut?
I wouldn't say why not. Yeah.
I feel like that's a good thing to look into. That was
Yeah.
my thought while I was riding my bike today.
Yeah.
And honestly, you're talking shit on the mail cutter. I have one. I don't even know what business is on mine, but I got it for free from someone and I use it like every time I open my mail, I use it.
When was I talking shit on this mail cutter?
Maybe it was Kyle.
I don't think I was. I said it was a good idea. I just supported the chip clip better.
Yeah, I don't think I was talking shit on it at all.
Here's why. How many mail cutters do you have?
For sure. Yes. Yeah. I see that.
How many chip clips do you need? A lot.
I don't use chip clips because they don't ever stay.
There are
I
a
use
lot
rubber
of
band.
weird individuals who still open their mail with their hands. Their bare hands, Amanda.
I do that.
But everyone needs to steal a bag of Lay's. All right.
Well, to be fair, I do still have that on my list of items that I've been going through. So I never hated on it.
Chip clip or the mail?
Both. I never hated on any of the items. I took all of them. I was just doing a little bit more research on my own to see, and also from personal experience of being at different offices and them promoting either different organizations or different like side things that they're doing within that. So
do you have, I know you have a tumbler on there, but can you do one of these Yeti?
Yeah.
I feel like if I was on your site, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago, and if it was a Yeti, I would have purchased it right then and there. And I would have like sent in to like have our business logo on it and been like, yeah, because that's a Yeti. Fuck yeah, I want it. I don't remember
because
what
of the brand. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, just like the association of use Yeti as your advertising. Like you're marketing for them. They love it. They get to sell the product to you, and then you get to mark up on it based off of your skill and the enhancements that you make to it.
Yeah.
When you could even reach out to see if you could do like a partnership where they could send you some for free kind of thing.
And do some trials or get like a better bulk price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And there's also
if you put that on there and you say shipping will be delayed at least a month due to like custom label whatever, but it's free shipping, people are going to be like, okay, fine. You're going to get a bunch of orders because it's all Yeti. People want the Yeti if you price it competitively. And then you go to Yeti with like however many orders and you're like, hey, I got these orders. Would love to like partner with you guys. I really like your product. I think it would be cool to do this. I'd promote it on whatever, Instagram, etc. And just see where that goes.
Yeah, there's also, I know we had talked about this previously. I have no idea what episode, but it's like this, I don't know what it's called, but it's something to take the, what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for?
It basically like erodes it. It eats away at the material.
Yes, it eats away at the material and leaves the
stainless steel, whatever the base
behind,
is.
or whatever they make behind it. So I could also look into doing that as well for the designs.
Wait, what?
So hold up your cup again, Kyle. Do you see how it's black coated, but the bottom and the top are both stainless steel?
Stainless steel, yeah.
Yes. So she puts the product on the black part and it basically eats away at the black part and leaves the decal would then just be the silver stainless steel color.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Kind of like how where it says Yeti, it's basically the same idea.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen people do it before. I've just never used the product. I mean, even with my Yeti, like I know there's so many scratches.
See what I mean? Like,
there's so many
imagine if you just...
mine's in Walmart.
There's so many scratches and whatnot. I mean, you can even tell it's not that hard to take it off. I've dropped this at least 1 million times and I could see the stainless steel or whatever it is behind it because of the material just coming off from dropping it or scratching it. So, I mean, it can't be that bad. I've done it essentially with the Armor Etch with the glass, so it's got to be
Right.
something similar. You just have to use it as a stencil almost instead of
Yeah.
you have to weed out the opposite things whenever you're
Here's a
putting it
good
on.
question.
Right.
What are some just like a cost benefit analysis of like pros and cons of if I wanted to go on there and I could do a sticker or a decal of my logo and just put it on my mug versus doing the more permanent emblem or whatever you'd want to call that into it, what would be better? And obviously this version would be more expensive than just buying the sticker and putting it on, but like putting a sticker on there, putting it through the wash, is it going to hold, etc.
Before
So
you
just
before you go, Lex, I'm going to speak from personal experience here. I have a cup that was a fundraiser at work that I got, and it has our school logo on it, and it's wearing. And I don't even put it in the dishwasher. I hand wash it every time. It just, with washing it, it doesn't stay forever. I think that way would be much more durable.
yeah, and I think it's just higher quality.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even necessarily higher quality because it's just two different types of materials. Like, don't
Right,
get me
just two different things.
don't get me wrong. The permanent vinyl that I would use and or permanent sticker vinyl that again I would use, it would last, but not as long as again, like Amanda's saying, and be as durable as
Mhm.
the etching it essentially into the cup because at that point you're changing
It just is
you're
the cup
changing
at
the
that point.
yeah, it just is the cup. You're changing the makeup essentially of the cup at that point rather than adding anything
Mhm.
to it.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're never worried about putting it through the dishwasher or
Yeah,
anything from then on.
yeah. So, I mean, I think the hardest part would be probably just using the new product, seeing how it actually works, how hard is it to maneuver, how long it takes me to do it because in reality, it wouldn't be that much cost difference other than that the amount of time it would take me to do it and the cost of whatever product it is that takes off the material from the cup because I'd have to use the same amount of vinyl regardless whether
Hmm.
I'm weeding out the edge of it in like the perimeter or if I'm doing the middle for the stencil, if that makes sense.
Sounds like there's a lot of options.
Yeah.
I our products wise, I would love to have potentially hats, the Yeti thing, and car decals for Cooking Depot stuff and Three Path Profits. So if you end up putting those on your shop, I definitely am interested in getting some of those.
Yeah, I mean at least the
Hats, decals, what else?
Hats, the Yeti, and car decals.
I will be putting the sticker slash decal up this week. So
My only worry is I hope that it lasts, but being in the Florida heat, I don't know. Like, does it have to be a certain kind of sticker to be on a car?
Do you have sweatshirts on yours yet?
Well, I have a sweatshirt already.
Yeah, do you have sweatshirts on your shop? Like
I mean I
custom
have
logo?
custom logos, sure. I could essentially just copy and paste that to a sweatshirt. It would just I could just essentially copy and paste the listing, just change the title.
Right. Just redo the Adobe Express picture to be a sweatshirt instead of a t-shirt. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
And
I mean,
I
that
think
would be an
I
easy
think like you were saying before with your holiday stuff, do Adobe Express.
yeah.
Not only is it less expensive for you on the front end, but it actually I think is better in the long run because it makes it so much more generalizable. People can do whatever they want with it. They can personalize it however they want.
Yeah.
For sure. I wrote down as my notes and questions is just designs, designs, designs. You don't need to make anything.
Yeah.
It should just all be
Right.
generalized designs or pictures or templates that you're just uploading, and then
Mhm.
someone gives you a design or an order, then you make something. That's amazing for you because that way you're never investing any money or time or effort into a product until you already get a purchase order.
I think the biggest problem with only using the Adobe Photoshop Express is a lot of what Etsy says whenever you create a listing is more pictures, and the amount of videos you put are again what a lot of people look for whenever they're trying to
Mhm.
purchase an item. With that, I
Mm.
would have one picture and no videos because I haven't made the item, and again, I can change the different fonts and whatever six way to Sunday, but it's not going to like it's hard.
So then you'd make one, and you'd have
Yeah.
like the front
Yes,
picture, or whatever you'd call that, as the customizable general, and then you'd have like 5 pictures of the one you'd made, and then maybe a video of the one you'd have made.
Well,
correct.
and I think too, you could even make 2 to 3 pictures just as the different options people can do with fonts. Make one picture just your text here
Oh,
and put
that's
your
true.
text
Yeah.
here and all the different fonts. Put just the different colors of vinyl that you have as one picture. There's so much you can do to show what they can do without actually doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to give those different options on fonts and vinyl colors and whatnot. I think just the biggest thing is definitely trying to at least make one of them, even if it
And
is.
I was gonna expand on that point. That's where you're gonna get your content from too, to like upload to social media and things. Is I think it is a good rule of thumb to just every single one you should just make one to like A, record some video content, B, just to see what it's like actually making it, so you know what you're kind of getting into, and then B, just for like the C, just to the verification of posting those pictures and videos with just the Adobe Photoshop front thing.
How
Yeah, for
many
sure.
listings do you have total now on Etsy?
7. 7 active, 2 inactive. I got rid of the wedding
The mirror.
welcome sign, yeah, the mirror, and then um just one of my Adobe Photoshop Express. Fucking tongue twister right there. Um like weird examples. The one time I was just testing it out to see whenever I uploaded it to as a listing what it would look like without
When
actually
it's
making it.
when it's inactive, do you have to pay the 20 cents a month?
No. Only the active.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
My only question outside of what we've already chit chatted about is how is the giveaway going? I know you posted it and
Oh yeah, I completely forgot
I
about that.
I saw the people that I follow post it, but I don't follow everyone that you follow. So how's it going?
There was, I think, pretty much everyone that you saw is who reposted it
Okay.
and entered in. I do need to.
Do like a story post to remind people or something.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Like 24 hours left or 12 hours left.
Yeah, I'll probably do 24 hours just so again it gives people enough time because I mean it's gonna be on my story for 24 hours
Yeah.
anyway, so might as well just make it the 24 hours.
For sure.
You up?
All right, I guess that means I'm up. So, start off just with some notes from last week, the impact of the Olympics on the economy. I have a couple of links here I can give to you guys, but the gist was gross domestic product, or GDP, usually grows, sometimes pretty significantly, sometimes modestly. It really depends on the size of the country and the success of the overall operation. But overall uncertainty usually retreats and markets usually advance. So it's usually an overall benefit on all fronts, where growth usually results from all the people visiting, all the action, all of that. Uncertainty usually retreats because this is a lot of planning, and everything's usually purchased in advance, so they get the boost in advance a lot of the time as well. And then overall, their markets usually advance. So whatever, like their stock markets and things like that, usually do well. Whoever's holding it. And then there's also a thing called Olympic greenwashing, which I was looking into a little bit, where it's another motive, not necessarily just economical, but it's when a company like Saudi Arabia, who or United Arab Emirates, whatever, they want to increase their image. They want to make people forget about the crappy stuff that they do. They get involved with sports and the Olympics and things like that. And the example that I looked up was France and like the river being so polluted and dirty and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Olympic greenwashing is they're getting all this pressure to be green and like kind of the environment and all that. So France poured a bunch of money into cleaning up the river. So it's a silver lining. I don't think it really did much, but it got them to do something where they actually tried cleaning up some of their mess. But it's really an attempt from France's point of view to say, like, hey, look, we're doing our part. Let's shine the light on all the good deeds that we're doing.
It's
So,
the same as when someone comes to visit you and you clean your house and do all the things.
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's literally like having a giant party for the country.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what it is. You're inviting the world in to
Yeah.
see your country, to come in and visit your country, both physically and on TV.
Yeah, I mean, like I swear I never understood why people clean their house before a party, but I
Yeah, because it's just going to get dirty.
exactly because it just is gonna get. But I do it. I am that person, and I still don't
Yeah.
understand it.
No. Just like mom always cleaning before grandma would come. And every time she tells me she's coming to my place, I'm vacuuming the carpet and
Mhm.
cleaning, running the dishwasher, getting everything put away.
Mhm.
It's funny. But any extra comments or questions there from you guys?
No, it's pretty much everything I would say I assumed from my question, and
Yeah.
I would definitely
That's about it. Was about what I expected as well.
yeah, I just was trying to get more like a solid idea to kind of confirm the theory that I had in my head. But I definitely think it is good to note about the greenwashing effect.
What are the requirements in order to be eligible to host the Olympics? Because I know, for example, Pittsburgh can't host the Super Bowl because it's not a big enough city.
Yeah, so I did see a little bit about that because LA is actually the home of the 2028.
Oh, it
So it
is.
is, yeah, LA is. So it's going to be pretty cool. But you have to have the bandwidth to support all the sports, the
Right.
events, the influx of people. Um, a place like LA, who has stadiums all across the city, I think they had like 50 stadiums or something in the article that are going to be used for the games
Mhm.
all across LA. So none of the no new buildings are going to be built for the 2028 games, which is kind of crazy. To answer your question on what are the requirements, I'm not sure what it exactly is, but I assume it has something to do with number of facilities and just bandwidth of what they can hold in terms of
Hotels. Yeah.
hotels, yeah, parking,
Yeah.
events, yeah, all of that.
Can people go to the Olympics? Being in LA, can people go to it?
Yeah, yeah, you
Spectators?
can go to it. Yeah, what do you mean?
I don't ever watch it, so I don't really know.
Really?
Well,
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean
like
that's a
the whole point of I
There's
guess
spectators at the Olympics.
for sure.
yeah.
Did you not watch a single Olympic event?
Not a one.
Wow. Yeah,
The only thing
there.
that I know about the Olympics is the stuff they were talking about the person that potentially could be trans that beat the shit out of the girl.
Hmm. I mean, you got to think in like a track meet, there's people in the stands. At a swim meet, there's people in the stands.
Yeah.
Soccer game, there's people in the stands. It's similar to that.
Well, I mean, that was the whole thing of like why I guess I asked more of like what it does to the economy as well from all of the
Right.
influx of people and everything infrastructure that they might need to build or have or whatever. So I would say yeah, like LA is going to be very 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 busy whenever it does happen to be there.
LA already is busy.
Yeah, so
LAX, yeah.
All right. moving on, we'll get into a portfolio update here. Net asset value of the account is $1,026.56. That is a 2.66% return. We are still positive, making a unrealized profit. Last week, the S&P was up 2.4%. My portfolio was up 1.2%. Best performers in the portfolio year to date is the TLT up 8% and Coca-Cola up 10%. And worst performers are still Prudential down 6 and Ford down 13. Those were unchanged in terms of best performers and worst performers. It just changed the percentages a little bit. Now I'll screen share the Excel doc here. Yep. Can you see it?
There
Yeah.
we go.
Okay, so I changed the format here a little bit, but it's basically the same. You can see Coca-Cola is still on the top here with 10.2%, and Ford is on the bottom, down almost 13%. I highlighted this one, this column beside the unrealized profit or loss, because this is the dividend yield of all the stocks. So as you can see, Blackstone being the highest with 10.8%, and Coca-Cola being the lowest with 2.8%. The average yield for the portfolio is 4.88%. So that's pretty good. Overall, not much has changed here. I'll actually compare this with the old one here.
What I see is changes. You got 6 green now. Last week it was 50-50.
Yes, it was. Yeah, good observation. That is exactly correct.
And last week you're up more than you were last week, right? Last week you were what, 1,011 or something like that?
Yep. So as you can see, this was 10.2 in the other one. This was a little higher, 8.4. And then Blackstone as well was in the positive. So it did move around a little bit, but
Which is
that's also.
what's the one that went from red to green?
So let's see. Coca-Cola, TLT, SPYD, Pfizer, and Blackstone were all green. So it wasn't Blackstone actually. And then let me see over here.
While you're kind of going
I gotta
through
figure
that,
out how to share it too.
okay.
Go ahead, Lex.
While you're figuring that out, whenever you're looking into a company, especially that one that pays dividends, since that's the kind of portfolio you're putting together, and the percentage, how big of that is, I guess, like, I know you said your average is 4.88. So I guess how much do you pay attention to that based off how much you like the company whenever you're picking them? Does that make sense?
Yeah, good question. I mean, a good way to look at it is the company should have to pay you more in dividends to attract you to invest it if it's a riskier investment, because dividends are safer because they're returning the cash to you quickly. So, like Blackstone is a more risky investment than Coca Cola. Coca Cola is very consistent. They consistently grow earnings. They're a very low beta stock. They don't fluctuate too much in terms of price. Whereas Blackstone, very interest rate dependent. They fluctuate a lot based off price. They have to pay a premium for that risk you take investing in the stock. So it's really about your risk appetite and what you're trying to achieve. I am trying to achieve a higher yield, so more cash on this number to be higher. That's why I do like companies like Blackstone. That I hope kind of answers your question, but you should really think of it based on, are you hoping for more money now in terms of dividends, or are you hoping for more money later in terms of price appreciation in the stock? If you're hoping for more price appreciation, then you'll take a lower dividend yield. If you're hoping mainly for a dividend yield, you're obviously hoping for that to be higher.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, no, that does, especially looking at all the different percentages. And like you were talking about how Blackstone, it's 10%, and all the rest of them are more on the average of numbers between like 2 and 6. So,
yeah. And that's pretty standard. Usually it's between 1 and 3%. 4 to 5 is a higher yield, and anything over 5 is considered a very high yield. But to answer your question, Amanda, the VYM, the Vanguard High Dividend Yield, that was down 0.5% last week, is now up 2.65%. So that's the one that turned green.
Okay.
And you'll see, like, even some of the reds got better. Like this minus 16 is now a minus 12.8. This minus 9.7 is now a minus 5.8. This minus 4.4 is now a minus 1.7. So a lot of improvements pretty much all across the board here. And then new update, I talked about last week how I'm going to start adding to the portfolio. So I will have a similar breakdown of how the initial portfolio would have simulated, and then the current situation of the portfolio as well, similarly to how I'm doing. But what I'm going to be doing, I've decided to do $25 a week starting the first week of September. So over the next week or two, I'll be planning on what my first purchases will be, but it will be $25 into one or maybe more companies, probably usually one at a time, maybe two or three, but $25 a week. And I chose that over the $100 a month because when you do it weekly, you end up squeezing another $100 in there per year. It's $25 a week, and you do that out, it's $1,300 a year. $100 a month comes out to $1,200 a year. So, and it's just something more often since we do the pod every week. I'll be able to talk about each week something that I'm purchasing. So, and there will be weeks that I don't necessarily purchase anything. So if I don't have a very high conviction in something, the $25 deposit I'm going to have on recurring deposits, but I won't necessarily buy something just to buy something. If I don't have any conviction where I don't want to buy anything, I won't buy anything. So then the cash will just accumulate in the account until those opportunities present themselves.
Do you have a certain day that you're going to plan on doing this?
Not necessarily. It'll be whenever the opportunity presents itself. So in the same way that I'm not going to do it every single week, the money's going to be deposited every week. I'm going to set that up to be just every Monday, $25 gets deposited. So that will always be reported every week. But the purchase of a stock may or may not happen every single week, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the idea is to just continually adding to the portfolio, but purchasing securities at opportune times, right?
Right.
So anything else?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Cool. Then we'll move on to dividend updates here. 0 in the past week, 0 cash dividends. Year to date is a total of 932 still. Total cash is still 944. And next dividends come on September 3rd. So 3 weeks from now, we'll get Pfizer and Ford. I've already accrued those dividends. So remember, we talked about the dividend X dividend date and then the pay date. So I've already passed the X dividend date for Pfizer and Ford, which means I have accrued that dividend revenue. It just hasn't been paid to me yet. So that $2.80 will come on September 3rd, and the dividend reinvestment is still off. Earnings updates still do not have any. This is the list in terms of dates of when they'll come out. Bank of America reports on October 15th, so quite a ways away, 2 months away for that. Blackstone reports on October 23rd, Coca-Cola October 23rd, Ford October 28th, Kraft Heinz October 30th, and Pfizer November 1st.
All
So
pretty
quiet on.
clustered. They're all pretty clustered together there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what I said when we first started getting into the first earnings report. I think it was Bank of America episode, I forget, but they all kind of report around the same time because most of them have pretty similar fiscal quarters or fiscal calendars. So like they all finish the second quarter around the same time, and then within the next month they all report the results of those earnings in that quarter. So that's why they always will be pretty clustered. Excuse me, but as if and as I add additional companies to the portfolio, you might see some more variation in that, because as you add more, you're going to get more variance in terms of when the companies report. Moving on to macro and current event update. U.S. core inflation cooled to its lowest level in 3 years, boosting optimism that a rate cut is approaching. That was from Bloomberg The Close. That is based off of the producer price index and the consumer price index, the PPI and the CPI that I talked about last week. Those both came in better than expected, in line with the expectations, which was really good. So that boosts the chance that the Federal Reserve is going to cut interest rates in September. My question to you guys is, do you think prices are moderating, or at least the expectation of moderating, in your personal experience?
I haven't really noticed a difference personally.
Yeah, I
But
can't say I have either.
And that's a good thing, right? Because that means prices aren't skyrocketing or going up where you're noticing,
Yeah.
and prices aren't dropping like a rock where you're noticing everything costs less. Because we don't want deflation either. And that's why I'm asking. Because if you're seeing, oh, things are starting to go on sale, prices are starting to come down, that usually means that businesses are starting to struggle. That means that earnings are going to struggle, and then the stock market starts to struggle. So that's why I asked, just to get a general sense of what you guys are seeing, because I haven't seen anything either other than stable, where I pretty much, my grocery bill has been pretty much the same over the past year or so. I'm not spending much more at the gas pump that I notice, which I don't really check, as we've talked about. So all the prices I feel like are pretty stable, and that backs that up. So I was just looking to get your guys' consensus on that. Next is Starbucks. They named former Chipotle CEO to their CEO now. The share price rocketed 20%. I have a question for you guys, which I'll also answer. Do you shop at Chipotle or Starbucks? And what are your experiences like if you do shop at these places?
I love Chipotle. I just fixed your typo there. You had Chipotle. You had the actual L. Like there was an L before the T. um, I love Chipotle. I don't eat there as much as I used to, just because I cook so much at home now. But I love Chipotle.
Yeah, it's hard for you.
I think that it's one of the best fast foods, if you want to call it fast food, that you can get. I always say the best are the 3 C's: Chipotle, Culver's, and Chick-fil-A.
What's Culver's?
Come to Florida and you'll find out.
I guess I'll find out in a couple of months here.
Mm-hmm.
I would say for me, I definitely don't eat Chipotle obviously as much as I did. I swear to God, in high school it was like like at least 3 times a week, and it was
Yeah.
kind of disgusting. I also only went to like one Chipotle because it was the best out of any other one around. I would
And
like that McCandless one. I drive that extra
yep,
15,
yep.
20
That
minutes
McCandless,
to that
the
one.
McCandless Chipotle, it's gone through its ups and downs, but there have been some periods where they have just had phenomenal service, phenomenal portion sizes,
Yeah.
phenomenal freshness.
You guys are such babies. Like, to me, that we went there because that was then the closest one. For me growing up, like when we first started driving, the one on McKnight was the closest. So then when we got the McCandless one, it was like, hell yeah. I didn't live there when the one went in by Home Depot.
I
That one sucks.
Yeah, that one sucks so bad. Anytime I've had it,
Sucks.
I've been so disappointed compared to the
It's
McDonald's
small
one.
portion size. It's not fresh.
Yeah.
The service is fucked. It's a bad experience every time.
Yeah. So like genuinely, I guess how you're saying like what are your experiences like? I think it depends on the Chipotle. Because I've had so many different experiences at every Chipotle I've been. Like the one in Indiana, That one was okay. Wasn't great, wasn't bad, but like
When was the last time either of you have been to a Chipotle?
weekend
I
of my
got it.
wedding.
I got it. Oh yeah, whenever I was home last. I haven't had Chipotle down here in a while, but whenever I was home last.
In the past year, Lexi, it sounds like you eat it more than Amanda. How many times do you think you ate at Chipotle? Roughly, like
Oh my
5?
god, no. I think that was literally the
More?
only time I've had it.
Okay, so 1. Because the reason why I ask is over the last year, even the Hampton Home Depot one is now nice. I've had people go there and they tell me it's amazing inside. The portion sizes are right now. It's fresh. They have more employees working in there, so the service is better. And a lot of these changes are being attributed to that CEO, where he basically revolutionized all that process. He he fixed the consumer problem of when you go to Chipotle, you didn't know which one you were going to get, the amazing one or the shit one. And now it's the stock has done so well because the consumer has done so much better as in their experience at the consistency of the stores. And now he's going to Starbucks to try to do the same thing because I don't think either of you answered that you go to Starbucks, but Starbucks customers are having this similar problem where they go to Starbucks, the orders are wrong, they're taking too long, they're just trying to get a coffee and they're there for 15 minutes. Um, Starbucks has just had a lot of those problems that Chipotle was having. So this CEO, excuse me, is coming in and the share price rocketed 20%, like I mentioned. So it'll be interesting to see how things change at Starbucks. And it's also just interesting always to note that just an employee hire, like this guy hasn't even started yet and he doesn't start until September. So the stock price is already up, but he hasn't done anything yet. So
Hmm.
it's always interesting just to note how one piece of a news article can make a stock price move that much.
I
So
when we went, was that for your wedding when we went after nails, Lex?
Yeah, that's what I said. That was the last time I went.
Yeah, and we that I had no issues at that Home Depot one, and I've gone to that one a few times and I've never had issues, so I don't know that I noticed it within the past year because typically whenever I've
Now,
gone home
I
recently, that's
definitely
been the one
noticed
that
that
I've
that
gone to.
one or that time I got it, it was a lot better than it's been in the
Yeah.
past.
a
And
lot
for
better.
Starbucks, I don't drink coffee. I haven't been to a Starbucks in I don't know 5 years.
Don't get me
I
wrong.
went I went sometimes in college to get green tea, but
I do like Starbucks. I don't like the prices. I'd rather go to Dunkin', get a similar coffee that I'm going to enjoy just as much for half the price.
See, is it half the price? Because I'm the type where I go to Starbucks and I get pike roast black, small, and I feel like it's not badly priced because I don't really notice the price. Like I feel like it's under $3, and it's like a pretty decent sized cup of coffee for a decent price.
well, you're getting a
That
basic coffee. Most people that go to Starbucks don't get a basic coffee.
Yeah. Like if I go to Starbucks, I would say I'm getting like a
They're
more
but
getting
see, I think
a
that's the
cappuccino with
problem.
pumps of this and pumps of that.
Right.
yeah.
That's the problem is Starbucks appealed to that, what you just said, when their real customer is me. The people who drink black coffee, they want good service, a high quality experience. They want to pull up to the window. Where I pull up to the window, I get my coffee in less than 2 minutes. It's a very simple exchange. I get my coffee and I'm gone in 2 minutes. It's better for Starbucks because I only interact with them for 2 minutes rather than 15. They don't have all this elaborate pumping and sugar and all the other bullshit. And it's they just got away from their prime customer base, and it's interesting how that's happened. So I hope things get better at Starbucks. I do like Starbucks coffee. I haven't been to Dunkin' that often or Starbucks to notice, is that big of a price difference on just a regular cup of coffee as well, Lex?
I mean, I guess I should preface whenever I go to Starbucks, I get a white chocolate mocha. Whenever I go to Dunkin', I just get either French vanilla iced coffee with cream or a caramel iced coffee with cream. But I can get a large for cheaper than a medium at Starbucks of that white
And
chocolate mocha. And
I don't know what that
honestly,
means for
I'm not
business.
I'm not like
Is
I'm
it the
not
mocha that's making it more expensive?
let me figure out exactly what's in it. Let me look it up.
You know
But
what I'm asking? Like,
yeah,
what would an iced coffee be at Starbucks and your iced coffee be at Dunkin'? What's the delta in price on that?
let me
Is
try
what
to
I just
I don't know if you want to keep going, but I'll look into like both of my apps, see exactly the same order what it would be in cost.
Sweet. Yeah, do that. Last macro update I have here is just to point out that President Trump and or former President Trump and potential President Harris are have two differing opinions on the Federal Reserve. It's a question that's been floated a lot in the media right now is should the president be able to influence the Federal Reserve? The Federal Reserve is who does monetary policy. They set the interest rates. Trump is saying yes, that he should be able to interest the interest rates being set. Harris is saying no. I personally think they should not. You want the Federal Reserve to be an independent body so that it's not politically incentivized to make moves for the economy more than it already is because it's impossible to keep them completely separate and politically incentivized. But if you directly correlated them, it would, I think, just get worse. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And as the election heats up, how that becomes more in the mainstream. But I just wanted to point it out. To review and conclude, no dividends or earnings left for August. So it's a quiet rest of the month. And the only new update I had was that I'll start adding to the portfolio starting in September. So I'll just have some more insights on what I'll be buying that first week, if I will be buying anything, and some more updates on the portfolio overall. So that's all I got for you guys.
Before I go, Lex, did you find the cost differences yet?
Well, Starbucks won't let me like order on the app right now because it says
Oh, because they're probably closing.
either some are closed or order ahead is not available.
Put it on your to-do list.
Yeah.
Inquire and come back with the stats next week.
Okay, I like it.
All right. Starting off with my stats and highlights for the week. Cooking Depot, I posted my typical 7 videos. On TikTok, I got 243,000 views, 8,552 likes, and 881 new followers. So now I'm at 6,865 followers on TikTok. Just highlight wise, from those videos, my videos ranged from 683 views to 3,332 views for this week. And that was really kind of outliers. Most of them were in the thousands or 2,000s, which not mad about. Consistently getting that on every view is good in my book. And I looked back, I briefly mentioned last week, I just didn't have the exact stats of looking back at the first email that I sent to a brand with the number of followers in it compared to now. The first email that I sent to a brand was on June 18th. And in that email, I gave a little blurb about my page and said that I had 2,073 followers between TikTok and Instagram. And now on TikTok, I'm at almost 7,000, which is almost 5,000 jump in not even 2 months. So
That's insane.
yeah. On Instagram, I had 6,000 something. I forgot a digit there. 6,000 and some change accounts reached. 141 likes, 12 new followers. So now I'm at 131. YouTube, 9,198 views, 221 likes, 15 new subscribers. So now I'm at 108. And Mern, I did post one video. I posted it last night though, so all of the stats weren't included in my stats for the 7 days because my 7 days I do Wednesday to Tuesday, so anything that happened today isn't included in these stats. So my views on TikTok, it says 353, but on the video I can see that it's around 1,800. So the video did well on its own, but 353 views, 8 likes, 2 new followers. So now I'm at 62. And Instagram, 27 accounts reached, 7 likes, and 0 new followers, still at 23. That's it stats wise. Moving on to tasks completed for the week. I accomplished 0 of my Christmas and Thanksgiving recipes. I just really forgot what it's like to work, honestly. How little time you have throughout the week and drained you are by the weekend.
Now you know how I feel when it was 11 a.m. and you're texting me, "Oh, get off your butt and go get your steps in."
Well, and
I'm
it's
like,
it's really honestly like having 2 jobs,
Yeah.
doing
Mhm.
a normal job and all of this stuff that I'm doing on top of it. It's a lot. So I'm trying not to be too hard on myself because I just do have a lot of things to do and there's just not enough time in the day, but I really want to stick to my 2 per week because if I can't even keep up with that now, there's no way I'm going to be able to do 35 recipes in a shorter amount of time to have them all prepped for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I need to get moving with that. I did finish the graphic for Lexi's giveaway, which we already talked about.
Which it turned out
Just
awesome, by the way.
thanks. I just some general update stuff, my random experience things that I go over every week. The feature that I mentioned last week where you can see who views your profile, I'm wondering if that's a feature when you get to a certain amount of followers that you no longer have, because I can still see that feature on Mern and 3 Path Profits accounts. I just can't see it on Cook and Depot's. And in the spot where you see it on the other 2 accounts, it's for TikTok Shop or something else. Like something else is now in its place. So I'm wondering if it has to do with the certain number of followers because I know on TikTok certain things do unlock as you progress. For example, I mentioned way back in a really early on episode that you can't make playlists until you get to a certain number of followers. So things of that nature, I'm assuming this might get lumped in with that, happen when you get to certain milestones follower wise. I was Friday night really just trying to brainstorm what I could make recipe wise for the week. And honestly, a lot of my motivation came from just looking what was in my fridge and what can I make with those ingredients. And I was having some fun doing that. And I was looking through my old videos even just to see what are the brands that I use all the time as ideas to have different brands to reach out to. And then I just put that honestly, I'm just having so much fun because Friday night, I filled out most of this Friday night. That shows how little time I have during the week to actually do this stuff. Since Friday, I really haven't done anything progress wise besides posting my videos for the day. So Friday night, I came home from work, did my workout, made myself a little cocktail, and then just sat down and was just being creative, thinking of brands that I wanted to reach out to. I did reach out to some brands, which I'll talk about in a minute. And it's fun. I say that it's like having 2 jobs, but I wish this could be my only job because it's so much fun. I love it. So then transitioning into the brands stuff, I mentioned that the product that I got was from Cutco, and I posted that. Cutco liked my reel that I posted. They actually followed my accounts and posted my reel on their story. And I think a lot of the followers that I got this week on Instagram were from that. They were all coming in right after they posted that. And then one of the other videos that I posted this past week, I linked Chosen Foods in it. It's the mayo that I really love. It has awesome, awesome ingredients in it. So if you guys are looking for a good mayo that doesn't have seed oils and crap in it, Chosen Foods mayo, not sponsored. But I've been kind of hush hush about the brands that I have emailed. And this is actually one of the brands that I have emailed in the past. So I figured tag them and see if they notice me that way because they never emailed me back. And they did like my reel and they also commented on it, but nothing further than that. And I commented back to them. And then another one of the brands that I've reached out to in the past is Good Culture. I swear by their cottage cheese. It's literally the only thing I'll buy, and I eat a lot of cottage cheese. And I tagged them to do the same kind of idea, and nothing. They didn't like it. They didn't comment on it. Nothing. But outside of those past relationships, new contact wise, I made one contact via Instagram DM and one contact via email. I haven't heard anything back from either of those yet, but not saying that I won't, because that was only on Friday and sometimes it takes a little while to hear back. And then the third contact that I was trying to make, I'm actually trying to get a contact information from my mom. The one thing that I'll say about it is it's a Kraft Heinz product. So she works for Kraft Heinz. So I'm trying to get kind of in with that, at least get an email for someone that I can contact. So that's about it. Update wise, this upcoming week, some things that I want to get done is, like I mentioned already, just getting on the Christmas and Thanksgiving stuff. As it stands right now, I'm currently 3 behind because I said I wanted to do 2 a week starting last week, and I only made 1 last week and didn't make any this week. So I'm 3 behind. So I need to getting on that. I need to think of more creative stuff for meal prep. I've been really enjoying making meal prep videos for my Monday. It's just, I normally do kind of boring meal prep stuff, so I need to get a little bit creative there. And also, I just really need to work this weekend to get more than 1 to 2 days ahead. With being back to work, it's hard to film during the week. And I use up the stuff that I had pre-filmed. And then, for example, days like today, where today I posted the last one that I had pre-filmed. So now today I'm thinking, well, I really should film a video so it's ready to go for tomorrow, but I just don't have the energy to do it tonight. So now I have to make sure I film something tomorrow so that I have something to post tomorrow, which I really don't like being in that situation. I like having stuff pre-filmed ready to go so that, 1, I have options to post from, and 2, I just don't have to worry about it if that day I don't actually film anything. And then after that, I just have my goals, keeping them the same, make my first dollar, which I feel like it's really close because I'm really close to my next goal, which is 10,000 followers on TikTok by February 22nd. And I say February 22nd because that's my 1-year mark from when I started posting, and my first paid brand deal.
I made the claim that it would be 10,000 by September something, right?
I thought you said end of August.
You said 1 month, yeah.
Okay. I'm still confident by that. We have almost 3 weeks. Each week raising by 800 right there.
I would say with like your weekly meal prep and trying to think of ideas and whatnot, I know like you're not going to be trying to quote unquote like steal ideas from people, but just like searching on TikTok already and other people's, you could comment on theirs and come up with something similar to what they're already doing. Doesn't have to be, again, the exact same thing that they're doing, but again, just to get some ideas, since you're saying you want to have less boring in your
So, and I do try to keep it somewhat boring in a sense that I try to eat as much protein and little calories as I can during the day, during the week. So it's kind of hard to be not boring, but still doing that at the same time.
I can't wait to live there and eat meal preps.
But I mean, honestly,
I will. Go ahead.
Sorry. I feel like a lot of people who are meal prepping don't, like, they're fine with taking the higher protein and less like fun exotic meals during the day. They'd rather.
Anybody who's meal prepping knows that they're sacrificing fun and savory and novelty because they're making the same thing for multiple meals for the week. That's like the whole intention.
Right.
Yeah. Like that. Honestly, I feel like at that point, you're fine taking that setback on the meal prep, and then you go like have more fun for dinner or whatever. So
meal prep is really about function over experience. You're really just getting the calories in, getting your macros, like you're just hitting your intake needs. Where your content hits the chord is it also makes it like a better experience, making it like good and fresh and high quality, good meals
Mm-hmm.
makes meal prep so much more fun. Because guys like me who want to meal prep, but if it's a shitty meal like chicken and rice with not a lot of flavor, I don't want to eat that every meal for every, yeah, like I just can't do that. But the shit that you cook in your meal preps, I would crush those. They look so good.
When I don't do much more than that, you can forget the rice. I think you're much better off eating a potato than you are eating rice, in my opinion. But
I like rice though.
honestly, my lunches this week for meal prep was literally just chicken with homemade Chick-fil-A sauce. All you gotta do is put a little sauce with it, and then you can literally just have
Good.
protein in that sauce, and it makes it good.
Also, this is so random, but every time I watch your videos and you have those little like side cup containers, it makes me so happy.
The little
I
click with the lid.
Yes. They're so cute. I love like that everything is like not touching. It's like split
Mhm.
up and it just like looks so satisfying.
The egg salad that I did this week, you got to try it. It was so good and so easy. So I just prepped the egg salad basically ready to go.
Send me the recipe for
Yeah,
that, please.
you
Yeah.
literally just put half a cup cottage cheese, hard-boiled eggs in a thing, and then in one of those little cups, I put a little bit of mayo, a little bit of mustard, and then the morning of, I just dumped the mayo and mustard in, chopped like smashed up the eggs with my fork, mixed it together, and it was ready.
That sounds so good.
It was so good.
Yeah, I need that.
Well, and then
Brian,
I'm like, this was so good. I want to do it again, but I'm like, I can't do the same thing again for my meal prep video.
the egg salad Brian made last week was the worst egg salad I've ever had. So I need to make some
I
good egg salad here.
love cottage cheese with egg salad. It's a
We
game
we
changer.
ended up throwing it out. It was fucking disgusting.
And I will
It's like
say
straight
with
garlic and onion.
oh, I love garlic, but
You know
yeah.
how he is. He just loves putting a bunch of garlic and a bunch of onion on everything, and he acts like he's a wizard of cooking.
Also, I feel like it would be really good if you put bacon in that too.
Oh.
Oh,
You know, I had that thought a while ago and I totally forgot about it. That's a really good idea.
Just because it just made me think of that. I had this past weekend deviled eggs.
bacon egg
I
salad.
had bacon deviled eggs and they were phenomenal. And thinking of
Ooh,
that egg salad with bacon sounds again phenomenal.
and a little bit of like caramelized jalapenos maybe
Oh
too.
my God, yeah. This
Oh,
is
the
this
creative juices are flowing.
This is my handy dandy notebook. I literally bought a 3 subject notebook just to keep all my Cook and Depot stuff in because I was constantly jotting stuff down on a line sheet of paper and then it would just end up wherever. So I got it all organized now. And with doing my meal prep videos, I include grams of protein, calories in it. It's made me more aware of how many calories you actually can eat without realizing. Not that I don't like to count my calories because I think it can make you develop an unhealthy relationship with food. So I don't like to count them religiously, but it's good to just kind of be aware of them.
Yeah, you should know within 500 to 1,000 what you ate.
Right.
yeah.
Like if you don't know whether you ate 1,000 or 3,500, that's a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
But if you know, like, yeah, I probably ate 2,500 to 3,000 a day, like, you're in that bucket.
Yeah.
That's probably all you need to know.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely generalize rather than being like, I have to hit this number. Here's like I'm gonna be like, oh, I can only eat half of this protein bar because it's this
Yeah,
much.
because
Like I'm not gonna
it's cumulative anyway.
yeah,
If you're at a deficit for one day, or if you're at a surplus for one day, it's still going to get averaged out over the week.
Mhm.
yeah,
So if you have like one day where you eat 6,000 calories and you burn 2,000, but you were down 1,000 the other 5 days, then you're pretty much at even.
yeah.
So
I do notice a huge difference in just bloating whenever I'm eating out a lot versus eating in. I will say,
seed oils,
oh my
yeah,
gosh, like
Yeah.
whenever I got
including
home from being up there for 2 weeks, I just ate all the things, and I felt like I was like a puffer fish.
Yeah, I feel like definitely you don't realize how much better making your food is than compared to eating
Mhm.
out until like you start really doing it and actually spending time and effort into it. Because yeah, it might be easy just to call and get something delivered than making it, but you're going to benefit in the long run.
Well, and even sometimes making it isn't good either. I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
a psycho about looking about labels lately, but if you're not aware of what's in the food you're using to cook either, it could be just as bad.
Yeah.
I am not to interject and steal your thunder here, Amanda, but I'm starting 75 hard again tomorrow. I think I mentioned this to you guys,
No, you didn't.
but
No.
I definitely told you, Amanda, the other day when we were on the phone. But that's right. But my diet portion, I'm not really following a super strict diet, but I would like some help, Amanda, with just like meal prepping and make sure I'm hitting what I want to be eating.
Mm-hmm.
Because for the diet portion, I'm more or less limiting myself on things than saying I have to eat certain things. So I just can't eat like sweets and junk food, can't eat like fried food, can't eat
Mm-hmm.
like shit like that. So I'm not putting down a list of like, here's my diet, here's what I need to eat, but I know like don't eat dog shit is more or less the diet. Just
Mm-hmm.
eat healthy, eat like eggs, lunch meat, even like PB and J's. I would consider fine. You know, like I'm not
Yeah.
going to be super strict, but just no like fried, really bad, ultra processed stuff is really what I'm trying to avoid as the diet. And then obviously the no alcohol portion as well.
If
So
uh if you're eating a PB and J, just doing it not on white bread is beneficial. White American white bread is
oh, and the other
terrible for you.
part of the diet is all the meat, everything I eat has to be while the sun is up.
I follow that rule pretty much
Yeah, I
anyways.
don't.
I never do. As soon as the sun goes down, like right now, like I'm about to go get a snack. It's 9 o'clock and I could go shove my face with 1,500 calories.
I
I
could
could go eat
too very easily. I
two
just don't.
I could go eat two bagels with butter and jelly right now, and that would be probably 1,000, 1,200 calories so easily. Horrible.
You'd be surprised.
Honestly,
A bagel's only 300.
I feel
Two bagels with the
Oh,
amount of butter that
2.
I
Yeah, yeah,
use
yeah, yeah, yeah.
with the amount of jelly that I use, you're at 1,000, 1,200 calories.
Yeah.
I feel like I definitely try to limit myself in eating close to bed. I feel like I
I
Yeah, I mean, Whoop tells you you shouldn't eat like 3 hours before bed. You
yeah,
shouldn't drink like an hour before bed.
I
I don't follow
actually
that
abide by both of those pretty much naturally. I drink a little bit of water, but I naturally slow down how much water I drink in the evening just because I don't like to have to get up in the middle of the night to go pee.
Yeah.
But I never during the week I never eat after dinner.
Yeah, really me either.
I eat so sporadically. Like sometimes I eat 5, 6 meals a day. So it's like I don't normally follow your standard breakfast, lunch, dinner type setup.
Yeah.
I'll eat if I wake up super early and I'm like going on a walk, or if I get a workout in the morning and I'm getting a meal in there, that's like a pre-breakfast. Then there's after workout or after walk breakfast. Then there's like pre-lunch snack. Then there's like after lunch snack. Then there's dinner, and then there's the late night 9 p.m. Usually eat a shit ton when I know I shouldn't. So it's not necessarily your straight up 3 meals a day. So that's gonna be harder for me than I think anyone would expect. Just to
I
eat in the sun hours.
I have differing opinions about 75 hard. Do you think it's actually good for you to work out twice a day for 75 days in a row? I feel like it's not. Your body needs a break.
I think it's within reason. So it's all like within context.
Yeah.
Like my outdoor workout, I'm doing 45 minutes of walking. You can walk for 45 minutes, 75 days in a row. You should walk 45 minutes every single day for the rest of your life. Like that's not something that's bad to do consecutive day over day over day.
I don't disagree
But
with
if
you.
you're going to the gym, and if I was doing like a full body workout where I'm hitting like bench press, squats, shoulder press, all of the big muscle group workouts, if I'm doing that every day, that's not sustainable. Maybe if you had already built up to that, then you could get there. But it's all within like your base point versus improvement. It's all on the margin, right? Like if I'm already going to the gym a lot, then yeah, I mean it's not bad for me to keep going to the gym every single day. If I'm going to the gym 3 to 5 days a week and I start going every single day, that's not bad for me at all because my body has already built up to that tolerance and that endurance level to regenerate my muscles that fast that it's fine. But it's all context, your own situation.
Okay, well, just to close, do my little shout out. You can find my page on Instagram and TikTok at cookin.depot, cooking without the G, cookin.depot. And then on YouTube, it's just Cookin Depot. There's no period. Still cooking without the G. And then my Mern account is more lifestyle content, MERN period underscore. And you can find me on Instagram and TikTok.
That does it for today's episode of the Three Path Profits podcast. We want to thank you guys for listening and encourage you to leave comments or questions to help us improve moving forward. We'll be posting episodes every Friday, so stay tuned to make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any episodes or important updates. If you enjoy the podcast, please tell a friend or family member you think would enjoy. And also, please be sure to check out our social media pages, TikTok and Instagram at 3.path.profits. We appreciate your support and we'll catch you next week.